This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. It's Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and LifeLock has tips to protect your identity. Use strong passwords, set up multi-factor authentication, report phishing, and update the software on your devices. And for comprehensive identity protection, let LifeLock alert you to suspicious uses of your personal information. LifeLock also fixes identity theft, guaranteed or your money back. Stay smart, safe, and protected with a 30-day free trial at LifeLock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
This is an ad.
I hate it!
An ad for crisp, refreshing Angry Orchard hard cider.
That is refreshing.
An ad that interrupted your podcast.
I hate being interrupted!
To remind you to stop being angry at me and crack open an Angry Orchard.
That's a good idea.
Don't get angry! Get Orchard. Angry Orchard Cider Company, LLC. AngryOrchard.com. Please drink responsibly. Angry Orchard is a hard cider with other natural flavors.
Netflix has a new, monstrous story to tell. In 1950s Wisconsin, Ed Gein lived quietly on a decaying farm, hiding a house of horrors so gruesome it would redefine the American nightmare. Driven by isolation, psychosis, and an all-consuming obsession with his mother, he committed crimes that would haunt Hollywood for decades. The third and most harrowing installment of Ryan Murphy and Ian Brennan's anthology series. Watch Monster, the Ed Gein story, streaming now only on Netflix.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injuries and additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
Welcome to another episode of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, and it's going to be a Nintendo News Minute. That's right. We are bringing these back. We're going to be looking at a handful of headlines, and then we're going to hang out and chat for a minute on Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Before we jump into it, I want to let you guys know that it is Elgato week. So if you head on over to n64josh.com/Elgato, you can check out all of the new stuff they've got coming out this week. The thing I've been seeing all over my timeline is their new mic arm. And whether you need longer reach, you need low profile, it does all these things. It is really, really cool. I'm probably going to have them send me one just because I'm so impressed by this thing. And it looks really cool. But if you're a content creator, the thing that is most important is you can now use their voice software anywhere. To me, it is their biggest selling point when it came to getting into their ecosystem is what they can do with voice. What you guys can't hear right now is that my air conditioning is running, and it's 3 feet away from my microphone. And it doesn't even come through. This stuff is honestly amazing, and I cannot recommend it enough. And now you can get it no matter if you're in, you don't have to be using the Wavelink or their microphone, any of their mics that support it. You don't have to have anymore. You can just use a regular microphone and it will work. It even works in post-production. So super, super cool. Make sure to check that out. Again, n64josh.com/Elgato. If you pick anything up, make sure to use code N64Josh to save a little bit of cash at checkout. Now, with that, I think we got to jump over to the news. So first up, this weekend was the Mario Kart World Invitational from Japan. And I don't know if you guys got to catch any of this. The times to watch it live were kind of crazy. It was honestly super late at night, especially it was late on the East Coast, not quite as bad on the West Coast, but still not anything during the day. It was all pretty late. They did a lot of Knockout Tour. That's what I spent a bunch of time watching, and I gotta say, pretty fun to watch. Watching some of these competitors, knowing where what it showed me is that I need to spend more time in Knockout Tour. I need to spend more time because it's kind of like learning the tracks. You know, I watched at the end of one race or one of the gates, the person went way to the right and then jumped up on the wall and actually did a cut that I didn't even know was there. And I think that's going to be the case for a handful of these, because these are cuts that are on, in most cases, on the straightaways. So seeing them is honestly, it's kind of crazy. And so it got me super hyped to jump back into Knockout Tour and spend more time with that. And I honestly, even before seeing that, I have been spending more time with the game. I have been spending more time in Knockout Tour. I'm still trying to knock out the rest of the P switches. I still have to do all of Mirror. Unfortunately, it's not my favorite thing when it comes to Mario Kart, but I just need to knock that out and then be done with it until we get some kind of a DLC. We are doing Starview Peak for our Pipe Trials track of the month, and I have a time of 2 minutes and 28 seconds so far. I am 16 seconds off of the world record, so still a ton to improve on. But I'm having so much fun with my lines and just getting the feel for that track. It's a really fun track, honestly. So if you want to get involved, you can post your times on Discord, or you can throw them up on X and tag me there as well, and I will see them. And if you use hashtag Pipe Trials, say you're posting it on Instagram, whatever, there's a good chance I'm gonna find it. So you can use that hashtag if you want me to see it. Also, if you end up doing a video or something or showing your run, like on TikTok or YouTube Shorts, just tag either tag me or just use that hashtag, and I will be searching that hashtag throughout the month to see other people's results. And again, you can just post it in the Discord if you want. But what was really interesting about the Mario Kart Invitational is it wasn't just your pros turning out for this thing. They had a parent and kid competition as well. And so parents and kids would take turns doing their races, and that I got to spend a little time watching as well. And it was just really fun seeing parents and their kids enjoying Mario Kart, playing it a little competitively, like cheering each other on, and everything that goes into to racing like this. And Nintendo, and this was all happening at Nintendo Live, which is one of my absolute favorite things. I hope it comes back within the next couple years to the States, because it's just so good. And I highly recommend, if it does come to the States and that's where you're from, try to go. Now, obviously, the last time they did it with a raffle system, so it wasn't as easy as just buying a ticket to Seattle and then getting in. It was a little difficult, but it's super fun. It was so great seeing all the pictures from that event. But I was most interested in Mario Kart World and seeing how how they were going to handle this kind of first major event for this game. And it seems to me it's going to be a pretty exciting future with this game competitively. And there were a few moments there. Kevo is one of the top Mario Kart players in the US. I saw a tweet from him saying, "I did not do well. I had fun, but I did not do well." So it may be this game's a different beast than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. So it's going to be interesting to see how everybody ends up doing, and if we see some of the same top competitors in this one, or if they'll stick. In some cases, some may stick to Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. But we're going to continue on with the news here. We got the Lego Game Boy designer discuss collaborating with a very involved Nintendo. And that's no surprise at all. Nintendo seems to be very involved with this kind of stuff. I will say, before I jump into the article from Nintendo Life here, that I had an amazing time with this build. If you are watching the video, you can see it on the shelf next to the Lego Mario Kart. It is not a long build. It's one of those builds you can, put together in probably just a couple hours. I've already seen mods out there where people are turning the Lego Game Boy into a playable Game Boy, which is kind of crazy to see that that's happening, but I'm not all that surprised. The D-pad and the buttons both are all pressable, including start and select. You can change the volume, the contrast, slide the power button on or off. It even has a headphone jack, a bunch of printed pieces. It is a super fun build, and I highly recommend it. Highly recommend it. And you will have a good time with it. I have no doubt. It was really fun watching this thing come together, and it is just such a cool display piece too. I love seeing it behind me back there. So get into the article here. I'm going to just focus on the quote. And it says, we have a team that works in Japan. They basically allow us to connect to different IP teams or hardware teams or even creative teams within Nintendo to get the right information to make the product as best as it can be. We also met with the hardware designers that I think may have worked on the original and certainly was connected to the original. So super cool there. Let's see if there's any other quotes here. It says we wanted to sort of incorporate. Okay. We wanted to sort of incorporate everything that was mobile about the Game Boy. We had discussions about whether we should add any peripherals that can plug into it. Should it come with some headphones? Should it come with a little light? But in the end, we wanted to keep it simple and focus very much on taking fan favorite games and playing them anywhere. And that's the other thing that's fun with this build is you not only build the Game Boy itself, you also build a Link's Awakening cart, which has like a battery on the inside. It's kind of a fun little Easter egg. And you also build a Super Mario Land a cart as well. And those are the only two stickers that you have to put on in this set. Everything else is printed pieces, which is fantastic. And the carts also will go in the Game Boy and come out. And you can take the screen off and switch it with the opening Nintendo crawl that happens when you turn the Game Boy on, a Link's Awakening screen, or a Super Mario Land screen as well. And again, highly recommend. Super, super fun build. I found it at Costco for like $50, $48. So if you want to get a little bit of a deal and you have a Costco membership, check it out there. Going back to the article here, it says if you search for anything related to intellectual property, there's probably a Lego version of it out there somewhere. We are very careful for that exact reason. We deliberately don't look at a fan-related material because we want to focus on the actual real thing and do what we think is the right thing with the partner who we are collaborating with. So very, very cool there. So much just cool information. Love getting a little peek behind the scenes of how some of these things come together and how the teams end up working with the other teams. One of the things that I think was just absolutely crazy is that the D-pad and the buttons work. Okay, and there's a little bit from the article here. It says, indeed, with this in mind, Miriam says that he designed some 30 to 40 of the D-pad and various switches to work on how they felt. Oh, and those start and select buttons, they're Lego tires from all the way back to 1960s. That is crazy. So yeah, it was what you will find very interesting as you're putting it together and you're building for the D-pad and the buttons, the way it is engineered, it's ingenious, honestly. And you're just like, I can't believe I'm pressing buttons on a piece of plastic and they feel just like the Game Boy. The D-pad feels like the Game Boy, the buttons do. It's honestly very, very impressive. Super, super fun build. Cannot recommend it enough. And I have a few left to build. I have the Bowser and the NES I need to spend some time with. Still, jumping into the rumor mill here, Silent Hill 2 may be coming to Switch as its exclusivity window ends. And so on October 8th, 2024, this game released on PS5 and PC. And according to Rebs Gaming via this Nintendo Life article, it says the PlayStation 5 console exclusivity for Silent Hill 2 remake ends October 8th. The Blooper team's Silent Hill 2 website has changed to have 2 more platform slots, which seems to indicate the Xbox Series X and S and Switch 2 versions are coming. And so if you're a fan of this series and you are a Switch 2 owner, then you could be playing this on the go. This studio from the article here says this studio recently released Chronos, the New Dawn, on consoles and PC, with the Switch 2 version proving to be a solid option with stellar visuals and a reasonable performance. Hack the Backlog, who was on not long ago, has not stopped going on and on about this game, which I think is great. Even today, tweeted at me because I was like, "Hey, what do people enjoy video games?" And he replied, "Yo, I'm loving Chronos," and so it's on my list to pick up. Maybe it'll be my my spooky October game. I should probably finish Luigi's Mansion and the second one also. That trying to tackle that backlog as we all are. But yeah, so Silent Hill potentially making its way to Switch 2, and we may have information on this in as soon as 2 days. When this, or maybe 3, I don't know if it if it ends the 8th, if they could make any kind of announcement, or if it has to be the 9th. But we can learn very soon if we're going to be getting Silent Hill 2, and that's just there's going to be quite the collection of horror games when you've got Chronos, which is kind of like a Dead Space style game. You got Silent Hill 2 potentially, right? It's just a rumor at this moment, but looking very good. And then we have 3 Resident Evil games coming in February as well. So lots of good stuff there, especially if you are a fan of some horror games. Well, kind of in the realm of rumors and leaks, Marvel's Cosmic Invasion demo, Datamine, leaks more heroes. So, spoiler, okay? I mean, if you don't want to know what heroes may be coming, or if you want it to be a surprise, I would recommend skipping ahead a few minutes here. But looking at the Reddit post, it is showing that, let me see, I had it here. Iron Man and Phoenix are going to be playable characters. And it also seems that there is some DLC planned. Now, some of the characters that we know: She-Hulk, Rocket Raccoon, Venom, Spider-Man, Storm, Wolverine, Nova, and Captain America. The art style in this game, I gotta say, looks really, really cool. It feels like this game that was like kind of announced at like that partner direct, or we saw it in some kind of a direct, but then it's not been in the news cycle all that much, or at least I don't feel like I'm seeing a whole lot of it. So it's really good to see more. I've got high hopes with this one. I have a feeling that it's going to be really fun. I need to download the demo. It got a demo on Steam. So if you want to check this out and you're on PC, you could jump in and check this demo out. But I will just say that I'm very, very excited for this one. And it was interesting because like it looks like you can change characters maybe on the fly. I can't remember. It's been a minute since I looked into it, but I'm a huge fan of beat 'em ups. Love beat 'em ups, and this is loaded with so many of my favorite characters. So kind of stoked to play this one, and it looks like it's going to be. It looks like it's on its way this year. I don't see the date exactly. It just says, yeah. I don't think we have a release date just yet on this one, from what I can see. So hopefully sooner than later. I'm going to check just one. I just want to see if there is a chance that it does have its release date and I'm missing it. It's just Q4 2025. So Q4. That's all we know thus far. Well, Star Wars Outlaws gets another Switch 2 patch and further improves performance and visuals. Just taking a look at some of the notes via Nintendo Life, it says general gameplay improved K's movement under certain conditions to look better. Performance improved stability and performance. Graphics fixed a flickering issue with rocks on Tatooine, fixed an issue. The list goes on and on. I'm not going to go through all of it just because it is extensive. But here's the thing. This is the second patch. This is the second patch that has come out for Star Wars Outlaws. And I thought the game was honestly impressive when I played it before these patches came out at PAX West. And now it's running even better. And so it's honestly exciting to see that modern generation games are running and running well on the Switch 2. And I think in some cases, this game may look better on Switch 2 than it does on the Series S, which, I mean, not that it's about, I don't really care where it looks the best, runs the best, that kind of thing, as far as like some kind of weird console war. My point is that the hybrid Switch is on par with a home console, albeit the weaker version of the two Xboxes. But it is still fantastic to see that the Switch 2 can run games like this. I'm very hopeful and excited for Resident Evil and other games that are going to be launching day and date as we move forward. We still haven't heard anything about games like Call of Duty and a few other games on the Xbox side of things that, what's happening there. And we've also got to remember too that Borderlands was delayed indefinitely, which is a huge bummer. And hopefully it's going to be coming out sooner than later. I enjoyed what I played at PAX and was waiting to be able to play that game. I think it was supposed to be coming out this week, and now it is delayed indefinitely. So hopefully we'll see it sooner than later. And it could be one of those scenarios where when they finally release Borderlands 4, it runs better on Switch 2 than anywhere else. I'm not saying it's going to necessarily look better, but apparently there are a lot of issues with memory leak and other things. And maybe they're just trying to get that figured out across the board, and then they will release it on Switch 2. Because from my understanding, the Switch 2 doesn't have nearly the memory to leak that the Xbox and the PlayStation 5 do. I don't think, I'm pretty sure both those systems have more. I don't have it in front of me to be able to say, but I'm fairly certain they do. So it may be important that they get this game even better optimized on Switch 2. And sometimes you just got to let games cook, and I totally get it. And speaking of, what is it? Oh, hang on. I'm going to pull up my phone here because I have the article right here from Yacht Club Games. Yes, Mina is going to be delayed. It was supposed to come out on October 31st, but it is getting pushed back. The community manager, who is going to be coming on the show at some point to talk about Mina, tweeted that it's not a super long delay. They didn't give an exact time frame, but they just need to add a bit more polish to the game. Check out that demo on your Switch or Switch 2. When you're on your Switch 2, make sure to turn on, if you have a monitor that supports it or you're only playing handheld, check out Mina running at 120 FPS. It is gorgeous. It's gorgeous. And it is so cool to see what looks like a Game Boy Advance style game, or a Game Boy Color style game, I should say, running at 120. I'm here for it. But we are going to have to wait a little bit longer on that front, which is unfortunate. But, it's also good just to kind of let them cook. This is kind of cool. Again, from Nintendo Life here. Super Mario Brothers, The Lost Level Minus World has been found after nearly 40 years. So there's a video that they're writing this article around. And I checked out some of it today. And it's honestly pretty wild that this was found so many years after the fact. So we're going to jump into the article. It says, we've all heard about the Minus World, right? A glitch world in the original 1985 release of Super Mario Brothers. It was accessible via World 1, 2, and is an infinitely looping underwater level. I did this as a kid. I would jump in and try to find a way to beat it. There was no way to beat it, unfortunately. It's just the way it goes. It was literally a glitch. And so, it was, again, it would basically take you to World 7 2, but you'd get to the end and you would just start back over again. And according to the article, it's one of the most legendary glitches in gaming history, which, I remember when I finally pulled it off and I was like, yo, you're not supposed to slide through the wall like this. What is going on? It was honestly pretty cool. It was pretty cool. So as it turns out, according to the article, its direct sequel has its own Minus World, and it's just taken almost 40 years to discover it. The speedrunner Cosmic is the one who discovered it, and they're saying thanks via Nintendo Everything. In both the Japanese and English release of Super Mario Brothers: The Lost Levels, the actual Super Mario Brothers 2 in Japan, available officially in the West via the All-Stars bundle on the SNES, various glitch worlds are available, either changing the names, looping screens, or changing enemy behavior. However, it's the All-Stars collection where the Minus World is really tucked away, and it's incredibly complex to pull off. You have to first progress through some increasingly glitched versions of levels. The idea is Cosmic is trying to get past B8 by reaching B7 the first time. He realized it was impossible to beat. save, quitting, and reloading brought him back to a completely different level layout, but allowed him to get past those impassable glitches and roadblocks. A glitched warp pipe with part of a coin above it in B9 brought Cosmic back to World 1-1, but this did not deter him, continuing to progress through glitched worlds until he reached B/D and eventually various glitched menu options. It's a lot easier to watch than read us explain, so make sure to check out Cosmic's new video. And I jumped into the video and started checking it out, and it's honestly pretty crazy. It is really crazy to see the way, like, that the little piece of a coin. I was like, what is happening here? Like, what is going on? What am I seeing? And so it is worth checking out. The title of the video is After 39 Years, New Mario Levels Discovered. If you want to check it out, it's a 40-minute video. So if you got some time to kill, it is worth a watch. If you love digging into these old retro games and seeing some of these glitches that we're literally just finding, which I think is pretty rad. Next up, Digital Foundry delivers a technical breakdown of the Switch 2's DLSS. And so, again, we're still looking at Nintendo Life here. And it says, looking at the article, we've known that NVIDIA's custom-built Switch 2 chip would bring some DLSS, which is deep learning, super sampling, magic to the new console for a good while now. The specifics around how the technology is actually working under the hood have been pretty slim. Fortunately, the tech experts at Digital Foundry are here to shed some light on the whole thing. And they have a video breaking it down. I highly recommend going in and checking it out. And so just kind of digging back into the article a little further down, it says the first is what we see used in the likes of Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition and Street Fighter 6 on Switch 2. According to Digital Foundry, this DLSS model shares many of the same characteristics found in convolutional, I think that's how you say it, neural network, the CNN model, which was commonplace on PC prior to the introduction of DLSS 4.
This podcast is brought to you by Carvana. Carvana lets you buy your next car on your terms. Explore a massive inventory online, filter for what matters, and find your perfect match. Then choose delivery to your home or pick it up at one of Carvana's iconic car vending machines. Every car also comes with a 7-day money-back guarantee, so you can make sure it's the right fit. Buy your car on Carvana. Delivery or pickup fees may apply. Limitations and exclusions may apply. See our 7-day return policy at Carvana.com.
Carvana.
This podcast is supported by Progressive, a leader in RV insurance. RVs are for sharing adventures with family, friends, and even your pets. So if you bring your cats and dogs along for the ride, you'll want Progressive RV insurance. They protect your cats and dogs like family by offering up to $1,000 in optional coverage for vet bills in case of an RV accident, making it a great companion for the responsible pet owner who loves to travel. See Progressive's other benefits and more when you quote RV insurance at Progressive.com today. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Pet injury is an additional coverage and subject to policy terms.
This provides more consistent image quality at 1080p resolutions and working anti-aliasing on both movement and camera cuts. However, this isn't the same on all DLSS models found in Switch 2. Examining the like of Star Wars Outlaws, Hogwarts Legacy, The Tourist, and Fast Fusion on the console, Digital Foundry concludes that there is another tiny DLSS model at work for games to achieve resolutions above 1080p. The secondary model boasts a sharper image resolution, but far worse anti-aliasing on movement and camera cuts. The Digital Foundry analysis even states that it looks like it's not working in motion. The big perks in this model could operate at nearly half the cost of the beefier version, putting less stress on the Switch 2's GPU for upscaling. So all of this is outside of my pay grade. I don't really understand it. I'm just very glad to have it and to be able to enjoy it. And very interesting that they're finding more and more out about this. Now, there is no official word from NVIDIA or Nintendo, this is what the article says, and it's probably not likely that we're ever going to get that information from either of them. And so, the article reads, that said, Digital Foundry has had word from a developer who remains anonymous that the theory is correct and that there is indeed 2 DLSS models at play for the system. So very interesting there. to see that there's two of these models at play. Again, I don't fully understand all this. I have a very like surface level understanding of it, and want to continue to learn more. I will say when I've seen Cyberpunk and I've seen Street Fighter, I've been impressed. Star Wars impressed me. I bought Hogwarts Legacy, but I have yet to play it. Fast Fusion, once I went in and changed the settings, looked incredible as well. So I can't wait to see what Nintendo themselves are capable of doing when they really unleash all of this on their own first party games. I think Mario Kart World looks great. I think Donkey Kong Bonanza looks fantastic. But I know 5-6 years from now, there's going to be some stuff that we're seeing on this thing that is going to truly, truly impress us. And I cannot wait to see just how much power we end up getting from the Switch 2. So really cool stuff there. Lastly, I want to jump into talking about Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. And before we do, get the sound effect in there. So all day today, Nintendo has been tweeting out about the different sages. We get to see some pictures of them. We're learning more and more about them as we go, or little tidbits here and there. I'm looking at the article from Nintendo Life, and it says Koei Tecmo has shared some new info from some of Zelda's companions in the upcoming Musou prequel, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. Earlier today, the game's developer shared 5 new profiles and a bunch of new screenshots on the official website. So you can go and check that out, and they're crediting Nintendo everything yet again. Now we know the names of the 4 sages, well, they're Japanese translated names, and of Zelda's maid. First up, we have Argusta, the Goron sage and leader of the Goron tribe, known as a close friend to Rauru. He is a kind, generous, and intelligent ruler. Kia is next, the Zora sage and princess, who is master of martial arts, and she's known for her bravery, which inspires her people. Karafika is the Rito leader and the Rito sage, and perhaps not the easiest to understand. However, he is loyal and cares about his friends. And the last of the sages then is Artie, a member of the Gerudo tribe and follower of Ganondorf, current leader. Of everyone here, this is the article, we most want to meet Lenaria, or Renaria, who is Zelda's maid. Trusted by Rauru, she is a gentlewoman who is both quick at her work and fascinated with the mystical. She's always carrying around a notebook. Now, I'm going to take a quick peek here because Nintendo tweeted out about this prior to going live. And so the name that they have here based on translation is actually not correct. If I'm reading this correctly, this is from Nintendo of America. It says, meet Lenalia, a chamberlain who attends to Princess Zelda. So this is her maid. It's the same pictures that I can see on their site here. Though she can come across as easygoing, her ability to get things done has made her one of Raru's most trusted attendants. And you can see in the picture from Nintendo that she is holding that journal or that notebook. And so just kind of scrolling through and seeing what each of these sages looks like with their masks. I gotta say, the more I see this game, the more I get hyped about it. I don't feel like I've talked about it all that much. I could not put down Age of Calamity. Age of Calamity was so good. I was never really a fan of Musou games until they started adding Nintendo IP to them. The Dragon, Dynasty Warriors, I mean, they weren't something that really pulled me in. I understand the draw of like just, single-handedly taking out so many waves of enemies. Like, it's very, very like 80s arcade in my mind. But it wasn't until I played Hyrule Warriors, Fire Emblem Warriors, And then Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity could not put it down. And I think what happens is it's the variety of the weapons and seeing how seeing characters that we don't typically get to play. We get to actually play as these characters and then see how their weapons interact with the enemies. What kind of cool stuff are we going to see from Zelda, from some of these sages? It looks like there's like a robot version of Link, or Zonai version of Link. And I'm very curious on some of the backstory. We know this game is going to be canon, which gets me super excited because I thought the last game was canon. It turned out not to be. And I was waiting for a big twist at the end of like, I know how this is all going to come together. It didn't happen. Honestly, kind of bummed me out a little bit. So I'm very excited to get more Zelda lore, more Zelda stories, and to get to play as Zelda yet again after coming off of playing Echoes of Wisdom. From everything we've seen from TGS, this game looks gorgeous, runs so smooth on Switch 2, and that has me very, very excited. After starting to play more of these games running at like 120 or a locked 60, I'm kind of getting hooked. It doesn't mean that I can't play 30. I'm not there yet. I'm not all pinkies out when it comes to gaming and everything needs to be at 60 FPS or I can't hang. Not the case at all. But I do enjoy when these games are running and looking smooth. I fired up Pokemon Violet, and that game looks so smooth. Been playing through some of these new Galaxy games, playing through Mario Sunshine, which I know got a little upgrade, but playing through Kirby as well, which got the Switch 2 version. Like when these games are running at a higher frame rate, I'm a fan of it. And I'm very curious, like how crazy are these battles going to be on Switch 2? What is it going to compare to Switch 1? Obviously, they don't want to leave it too far in the dust, so maybe it will be held back a little bit compared to what we could get from it. But I totally understand with the install base of the Switch, you want this game in both places. Honestly, same as Pokemon ZA, get as many sales of these games as you can. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm hoping I can get through ZA, at least the main stuff, before this game drops, because I want to have ZA completed. I want to have Age of Imprisonment completed and be completely ready for Metroid Prime 4 so that I can just go into December ready to no life that game. I'm so excited for it. So that's going to do it for today's episode of the Nintendo News Minute. Thank you guys so much for listening. And remember, play it loud.